A lot of black parents are so busy feuding with one another, so busy hurt from one another, that they forget that their children are looking at them to see how they're going to show up in the world themselves. So if they see that their parents can't get along, it's a harder childhood. Let's get into it. In our community, we know that a lot of black mothers are very possessive over their children. It's also like pawns and possession. So it's not ever our child. You hear a lot of women saying, my child, my baby, my. Didn't make this child alone, couldn't make this child alone. But it's always my. Whether under the same roof or co-parenting with your child's father, it's important that when it comes to that child that you guys are on the same page, the same chord. You don't want your child getting confused. You don't want your child learning two sets of ideals. That's why I always say it's very important to know people before you lay down with them and have children. Because you don't want to be surprised that, dang, this person don't believe in the same religion. This person has no religion. Or this person has addiction problems. Or this person has mental health. Things that you can not prevent, but things that you can be aware of before you even bring a child into the world with this person is beneficial for your child. The more you know about this person, the better your future, the better your children will be if you decide to have children with this person. So your child asks you something, it's a big thing, a big decision. You even have to think about it. In the child's best interest, wouldn't it be wise to call the father and discuss, this is what the child wants, what do you think, this is what I think, and come to a common ground? Instead of making the decisions against the father's wishes, she could wear that, or he could do that, they could do that. And there's no respect for the father. There's no authority for the father. And when your children see that so many times over their life, years and years and years, they start to dismiss and disrespect anything that dad has to say. Anything that dad feels is dismissed because mama taught them that was okay. Parenthood is the time where you should be your most mature, the best version of yourself. It's not the time to be petty against the other person that you decided to go half on a baby with. It's not the time to be on a power trip. It's not the time to be right. You just want to be right. It's not the time to prove a point by withholding children. It's not the time to prove a point by dismissing and diminishing their impact in their child's life. A lot of people say, I don't want my baby around this person. They don't make good decisions, yada, yada, yada. You knew that. So where do we go from here? You knew that. Where do we go from here? Because these babies need both of you. It's some things that you don't know that this person can teach their kids. A lot of parents forget that this is not a movie. We are not going off of a script. This is your children's real life right now in real time. It's not the time to be petty. It's not the time to prove who got the juice, to hold leverage, and to play with their motherfucking lives. Especially black babies. Because if we're not breaking generational curses, then what are we doing? What are we doing?
So my daughter walked up to me asking me why I always go to her daddy when she asks me a question or I'm making decisions when it come down to her. We have this saying around the house, my answer is daddy answer, and vice versa. So the question she asked me was centered around makeup, and I was like, oh, I gotta ask your daddy. And so we just had a little dialogue. Yes, I'm the parent, but I love when they ask me why so they can get a better understanding. I told her that it's best that as husband and wife that we're on the same page because it will be confusing. Can you explain that conversation earlier?
What happened was I asked why when I asked mommy something that she always says I need to talk to daddy about it. Like when mommy was trying to make a decision about me having glue on my nails instead of the kid ones that sticks on your nails. And she talked to daddy and daddy said it's okay. Mm-hmm. So I was asking mommy about why do you always talk to daddy about the same things? Because it doesn't feel right when someone says yes and someone says no and you want the yes one. And you go listen to the yes one. That doesn't feel right, and it feels like you're disrespecting the other person that said no. So that's why mommy and daddy want to stay on the same paper. A different paper.
Do you think it's best for you, for us to be on the same page? Does it make it easier for you as a kid?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
and less
makes
confusing.
my childhood better. And my life. Is that the same thing?
So my daughter walked this
message.